Who is Randy?
Don't bring anyone mother into this.
Your mom in the fucking stand!
You and I have also been into 90 Day Fiance the other way, where Americans go and find their love in third world countries, and it's pretty nutty.
It's getting intense. I'm ripping through the season. You've been falling asleep, and I keep going. And
Well, I can hear it. I hear it.
it is true because you're like, and then you're like, did she really say that? I'm like, yep. But so there's a couple relationships that are standing out right now in this season of 90 Day Fiance the other way, which is there's an American girl who's going to go to Korea, and which is not a third world country, we should point out, because you're like, it's third world country.
Well, so far the ones I've seen have been Americans
there's
in like a pig village in Ecuador.
I know.
And then India, like,
well, I know, but they're going to all different types of countries.
just not America. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
90 Day Fiance, not America.
Talk English now. So, but what's fascinating about the 22-year-old girl who is going to shack up with the 29 or 30-year-old Korean guy is that he not only lives with his parents in Korea, which is a normal thing, but he comes to visit with his parents so that they can be around her and her already 3-year-old daughter. She's pregnant with the Korean guy. She has a 3-year-old daughter. First night, they came from Korea. She gets an Airbnb. It's fine. They have their own room. Her fiance, let's say, is like, all right, like gets in bed. And then he's like, what's up with getting it in, you know? And she's like, well, my daughter's going to sleep in between us. And he's like, huh? And he's like, when? She goes, every night. This is a man that she's known for basically 3 weeks. They've been, Skyping and whatever, talking, FaceTiming all the time, but she doesn't really know him. And she's like, yeah, my 3-year-old's going to sleep in between us every night forever.
Yeah. Right, but how did she get pregnant in the first place then?
Do you know
what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know.
How in the world did they knock boots to begin with? That's a good saying,
I don't know.
Too,
well, girl, let's knock.
Body rocking, knocking the boo. Sing it. You know this one. All night.
Yeah.
I think
H-Town? I think that's who that was.
That's horny. Let's do it.
No.
Come ride it. My
it's
pony.
Genuine.
Genuine. My
Yeah.
saddle. Bow. 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 Bow.
Okay, so
But he's so fey, that Korean.
yeah, he looks like a beautiful woman.
He looks like an FAGG. Dakota.
I feel like
No, he's tiny. He's so tiny and feminine.
I know.
He's pretty. Look, he looks like he should be in a boy
Yeah,
band.
so there they are.
Yeah,
There
he's so pretty.
He is. Yeah, like you could put him in the right light and I'd be like, she's cute.
Yeah.
You know?
No, but Korean men are very beautiful.
But see how
that's why the K-pop.
I know. Then what
stuff.
happened to Bobby?
Who?
Lee. He doesn't look good.
Bobby.
Yeah.
I know.
He looks like he could have been like a beautiful Korean man, and then someone just farted on him, and then and then you're like, "What's that?" And you're like, "That's Bobby." He's like, "Rah."
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, he looks like a butt
but
splatter.
This girl's real fragile emotionally too.
Yeah, she's crying.
Oh boy,
she's one of those like every she goes, "I just want breakfast to turn out good."
Oh boy, yeah.
And then you're like, is she crying over breakfast? And and then she's like, I don't know which gate he's flying into.
Yeah.
Cry. That is a lifetime of that, by the way.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
never going to stop.
Instability. And like she shows up at the airport. They landed 45 minutes ago. Like you don't have an app
By
on
the way,
your
that was
phone.
always, for me, I went on like several one-time dates with like the emotional girl. I always
Tears.
was like, I'll never see you again.
Well, that's why you like me, because I don't like feelings.
Yeah.
And comedians don't really feel them.
I definitely don't like that kind of shit where it's like, I just wanted it to be a good breakfast. You're like, all right. Jesus.
She does drop
Get
a tear
your
for
fucking shit together.
everything. It's so annoying. She's so unstable.
Yeah.
But the little boy, it's a little girl too, by the way. Like, why do you want your 3-year-old girl sleeping next to a dude
that you just
with a dick. Yeah, like, are you out of your mind?
Who just told you he wants to fuck?
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I'm trying to fuck right now. She's like, well, just my daughter's gonna be here, so just
Negative, bro.
It's weird.
It is weird. But that's not the point. We're talking about the Ecuadorian lady.
Oh no, we're talking about her, and now we're
okay.
You know,
Yeah.
Whereas there's different people on the show, so that's one of them. There's also a 60-year-old woman who goes to India with a 30-year-old man who lies to her about his family life, his job, his housing situation. So she's like, well, he's going to take care of me. And then he's like, I am poor, I am broke, and we have to live with my parents soon.
Is that right? Did he say that last night?
This is it right here.
There he is. Sumit.
Yeah.
But of course, okay, and another thing that's really annoying.
And he catfished her.
Let's give that. Americans can never say the name of the person they're dating. She called him Summit for like episode. I'm like, bitch, it's even I know it's Sumit because he's Indian, you stupid cow.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, he catfished her. He was sending her pictures
of like a super hot guy.
I'm hot as F. I'm like this model.
She was like, what?
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Here I am.
That's who she was sending. He was sending her in. Yeah. And she was like, what is up?
Yeah. And like, I love the delusion of the older person thinking that this guy's into her. Like, bro, how delusional are you?
Yeah. You really have to be desperate and so willfully delusional. Like, you know that guy right there in that photo is not interested, right?
No, not even in my best looking 20s. You know what I mean? Like, I was never that fit. Like, I'd have to be at a fitter level
for this guy.
Yeah, like there's no way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my God.
So she's just a crazy old lady.
It's just no money.
Yeah, and there was a great scene. So she's 60 and she goes and sits with a financial advisor and she goes, so I want to lay it out to you. I am moving to India for the rest of my life, and I'm just going to shack up with this guy there. Can we go over my financial situation? And he's like, sure. And he's like, is this everything? And she's like, yep. He's like, you have about 6 months of living
in India, which is like $20 a month, right?
He's like, I don't know what you've done with your life, but it's not good. He's like, you have no retirement. He's like, this is all the cash you have? And she's like, mm-hmm. He's like, well, yeah, you could definitely live for 6 months there. And she's like, cool, gonna pack up and go. And
sell everything I have. Yeah. And leave behind grandbabies and daughters. And she's like a nice family life in America.
But the best of the best is definitely the pig farmer.
Yeah.
The pig farmer is in Ecuador. And
Evelyn.
That's right. It's Evelyn.
Cold as ice.
There they are. So Evelyn and Corey, that's their names. And that's on the bed there.
That's
I can give you the story. So this guy is a really innocent, nice guy. And he's a square. And he's a fucking cracker. And he's a Mormon, live in the woods. Just a do everything by the book, nice guy. So he takes a vacation and he ends up in Ecuador. He runs into this girl and he's like, oh my God. She's gorgeous. She's sexy. He's never seen anything like. He's never been around it. And she's also like, she's got a little attitude. She kind of busts his balls. Well, he is in love. He's completely in love. And they maintain a relationship. She ends up coming to visit him in Washington. And he does live like out in the woods. But she absolutely hates it. She's like, well, I'm never moving here. I'm going back to Ecuador. And if you want to be with me, you have to move, not just to like Ecuador, not to the capital, to Quito, but you have to move.
To Quito? I didn't know that's
Quito.
Name. Delicious.
Yeah, right? Oh. But you have to move to, what is it? Igabao?
Igabao. Yeah. Igabao.
My fish and pig village that is,
literally a pig village. There's no pavement.
Yeah, there's just dirt roads.
It's dirt,
and
mud.
And whatever. That's where she's from.
Pigs
and she's
running
like,
around.
That's where I'm staying. That's where I'm going to live. So if you want to be with me, you have to come here. This motherfucker says yes. He sells his car. He takes his life savings. He sells everything he owns. He gives her money, first of all, to open a bar in this village, like by the beach. So he gives her a few grand for that. Buys her everything she needs to take back to mother, sister, father, cousins, grandma. Like she's like, they need this, they need that. He buys it all. She makes him pull over on the way to the airport when he's dropping her off to go home, get ATM money, give her cash to go home. He packs up his life. He flies down to Ecuador. And when he lands at the major airport, he calls her. He's like, hey, I'm here. Where are you? And she's like, I stayed home, like in the village. And he's like, what? And she goes, you could just take a bus. She goes, you're a big boy. You could figure it out. This is your welcome to
the new country, the new life.
He's like, I have 4 suitcases with me.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
Well, not only that, he's like, yeah, I have 4 suitcases. I'm the gringo walking around.
Yeah.
And I got a TV in one of the suitcases. I have an engagement ring in the other one. Like, this guy's ready to get jacked any minute.
Yeah. And she's like, whatever. Then they cut to her with her family. And they're like, why aren't you picking him up? She's like, he's got to do shit on his own. She goes, hope he doesn't get robbed. Like that. Like, hope he doesn't get robbed. And they're like, okay. And then they're like, what? Why are you being like this? She goes, I don't want to marry him. And they go, he's he's moving his whole life down here. She's like, whatever, we'll see. Like totally indifferent.
No intention of marrying this man.
He gets to town and he's like, so let's go to your place. She's like, that's not ready. Like they're doing something there. He's like, so where are we staying? She goes, we're going to stay at my grandmother's tonight. And he's like, okay. So they have to walk with the 4 suitcases, like a 20-minute dirt road walk to her grandmother's.
And mind you, he's been on an airplane for
all day.
And then he had to take 2 buses to get to Engabao.
Mm-hmm.
And he's panicked the whole time. It's a dicey thing. And now he's like exhausted. And she's like, it's a 20-minute walk because we don't have a car.
So they get to grandma's. Okay. And when they get to grandma's, the grandma's like, greets them, takes them to the bed. She goes, you can stay here. Now the bed is just a mattress with sheets. And there's there's a makeshift wall. It's like a cardboard thing. There's no ceilings and there's no windows to the outside. So all the elements can be in the room. And he says, there's not like a mosquito net. And she goes, did you bring one? And he's like, no. And he goes, is there any mosquito repellent? And she goes, I think your bad energy is repellent enough. She says that to him. And then he just drops his head. He's like, I'm sorry. Like totally cucks out. Yeah. And then
she's like, you should be thanking my grandmother for putting you here.
Yeah. She goes, you need to show your gratitude.
Which is true. Like, hello.
You should thank my grandmother for this piece of shit arrangement.
Yep.
But
that's the room, by the way, that he's sleeping in that we were just looking at, that brick wall and the garbage cans there. That's his room.
That's the room.
And then he's like, I think I can plug in. Is there anywhere I can plug in something? She's like, there's one outlet in this whole house.
It's in another room.
We're not going to let you use it, dipshit.
So
talk about a warm welcome to your new homeland.
Yeah, she's just totally cold but the thing is,
oh my God,
this guy is such a sweet boy, and she doesn't respect it.
No,
and I think she needs to get drilled. That's really what she needs.
Yeah.
She needs a fucking gorilla pounding where her eyes roll back into her head and she respects the guy whose dick is doing it. That's what he needs to make her do.
I know. And normally
make those kinds of noises.
Well, you specifically said to give her the Piledriver.
Yeah.
Which
it's true.
I think you're right here. I think you're 100% right. Is that she needs an alpha male, a guy who's not going to take this nonsense from her. And she keeps trying to make him tougher. That's what the whole thing is. Take the bus. She's trying to grow him up.
She is.
But like, bitch, he ain't going to grow up. Like he's a nice little guy. Nice. Yeah, he's sweet. Yeah, he's not that guy.
He needs
she needs an alpha.
Legs pinned back, and he's just like, like really. And she's like, stop. Like she's trying to say stop, but it still feels good.
How do you say stop in Spanish?
Para, alto, alto. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody really does the Piledriver in real life, though?
Yeah, sometimes.
I don't think so. I don't think anyone really does it.
Yeah, it happens.
Do you pile drive people? Is that real?
No, I don't even know. Piledriver?
Tell him.
Okay, so picture like this. The girl's laying on her back, right? On the ground, right? Now you grab her ankles and you lift her ankles up. So now it's like her neck and head are on the ground, but and then you drop your dick down into her.
This is the stupidest thing I've
Right?
ever.
No, it wouldn't work for me because I
There you
usually
go.
go for the...
There you go.
Squat it.
That's a reverse pile driver.
Can I?
Can
That's
you find the other one?
insane.
Can you find
But
the
that-
How would that
correct
even
one?
work?
But that one, you'd have to have your peener down. Like you'd have to push or erect peener down. That'd be hard. That one, that's not too crazy.
No. See, like how that image is. What?
No, he's looking for a different.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the pile driver.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah.
You do that one? Who's doing that in real life?
We're gonna have to blur a little bit, but you know, you get it. You get it, right? What do you think? Yeah, but don't you think that if he did that to her the next morning, she's like, "Hey, I made you coffee," like she'd show a little more respect.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you need.
See, what's going on here, though? Because as a woman, I mean, I kind of get it. Like, he's too wimpy.
He is.
And that's not very sexually attractive. But
She's
why?
doing that thing where she wants him to be a different person. That's not who he is.
It's not who he is.
He is a sweet, nice guy.
Right.
And that's how he's going to be.
So she's essentially trying to get rid of him by icing him out. Like, she's like,
And
I don't
he's
care.
like, well, I love you. It'd be,
Yeah.
you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if, like, at the end of this, she's like, I love it. And they end up being together, you know? It's one of those things where he's going to, like, break her down with how she can't break him.
Jesus.
You
That's
know?
so sick.
But she's saying mean shit. Like, even on day one, after all that shit, we didn't even bring up that he says whatever to her, and she's like, why don't you just get your stuff and go home? Like, right away.
Yeah, she wants
Yeah.
to get, but that's a she's trying to get rid of him without getting rid of him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because now the cameras are there.
Yeah.
And now she's in this TV show. Like, she did not like him at all.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting dynamic to me. Like, why have the guy if you just
I
hate
don't
his
know.
guts so much? She just hates him.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then there's the old lady with the cute guy in Qatar,
Cut that.
the American side cutter, and she calls him what, Aladdin? I'm like, isn't it Aladdin?
She calls him, Aladdin.
Aladdin is probably how
Yeah.
they say it. Aladdin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have sex with Aladdin, another
Aladdin.
delusional fat blonde chick, old lady.
She's
Must have a
so
ripped up, cute Middle Eastern guy.
And he's yoked.
Yoked.
He's totally yoked, and she's so fat and so old. And he's like, I love you, of course. I don't know what hustle he's pulling, but we haven't seen it yet.
What is that?
It's really weird.
Good morning, Julia. Did you like that highlight? Why not watch a whole episode or look at other highlights here, or you can subscribe right here so you know when the...
You dumb broad.
What? I did that right. I know I did. Did I do that right?